Hello and welcome. My name's Super Saiyan, and in this video I will be exploring which shield captain is best for you. So you've started an Adeptus Custodes army and you're looking through your codex at the three shield captains available: the standard shield captain, the one in the Alerus Terminator armour, and the one on the Dawn Eagle jet bike. Well, here are a selection of my shield captains. It's a shame there aren't any dreadnoughts that are shield captains. It specifically mentions in the codex shield captain Astorius Calaxor, normal custodian guard, then becoming a shield captain, being slain, and then put in a suit of dreadnought armor. But we don't have any characters in the Contemptor dreadnought or Telemon dreadnought chassis. That would be really cool, and I just would be great if Forge World had the resources to make a Custodes character in Contemptor dreadnought armor. But anyway, this is what we've got at the moment. This is pretty much the selection. I can't think of any others that are out there, so these are your choices. Of course, I've got Captain General Trajan Valoris, who's Captain General, not really a shield captain. He is the main guy in charge of all the Custodian Guard at the moment in the 41st millennium, but there's no reason why you couldn't use him as a normal shield captain with a Castellan axe. So that's one of your choices if you didn't want to use him as a named character. So that's one of your choices. You've got a couple of choices here. This is a Warden that I've just named a shield captain. Again, he's got a Castellan axe there and a Misericordia. Nothing stopping you from using him. I almost forgot the shield captain with the Sentinel Blade and the Storm Shield. Excellent model. Let's put him there as well. So yeah, you've got the Warden that can pass off as a shield captain with the Castellan axe. You've got one from the Custodian Guard box set with the Storm Shield and the Sentinel Blade, and then you've just got a standard one with a Guardian Spear. Forge World's offerings. Of course, here you've got Ixion Hale, which has the Castellan axe. Nothing stopping you from using him as a shield captain for your force. Also, this one, this recently released. I put a review up on Wednesday for this model. This guy, just normal sort of custodian guard, like this one, but without a helmet, and he's got a Guardian Spear too. So you could use him as your shield captain. The final offering is the one on the Dawn Eagle. Not much separates them. I think it says on the back of the box or in the fluff that they don't wear a helmet to signify that they're shield captains, but as you can see here, most of mine have helmets on. I don't really think that makes that much of a difference in game. If it's your shield captain, it's your shield captain. But you've also got this one on the Dawn Eagle jet bike, which just adds more flexibility and delivers a fast hitting force to your own army. Now, looking forward into the future, I've already mentioned like a named character, Contemptor Dreadnought for the Custodes. That would be excellent. But how about a Sagittarum that's a shield captain? I mean, are all Sagittarum Guard always going to be Sagittarum Guard? Are you telling me that not one of them has been an excellent sharpshooter or anything like that, and they don't have a slightly better Adrathic Destructor or anything like that? It's hard for me to believe that they always stay as Sagittarum Guard. So it'd be nice to see a Sagittarum as a shield captain. Furthermore, another offering from Forge World. Nothing stopping you here from using a Forge World Agamatus jet bike as your shield captain on jet bike. Bit more phallic looking, of course, but more presence, a bit more length to him, and nothing stopping you from using one of these as your shield captain, and just saying that it's got the melter missiles on, or whatever. I'm sure your opponent will be fine with that. So you could possibly use that one as a shield captain. And then finally, no, I'm not suggesting you use one of these bad boys as an Alerus Terminator, but what I'm looking at here is specifically the Power Talon, the Solarite Power Talon here. It would be great for Forge World to release, as I said in the review of the new shield captain, for them to release like an upgrade pack or something to have these power talons available for the Horus Heresy miniatures, not so much the 40k ones, but just to have a shield captain in normal armour, normal Auramite armour, wielding two power talons, really make him a beast in combat. So yeah, no, I'm not suggesting you use these as the Alerus Terminators, but I am looking at you know, different weapon options that the shield captain can take. Specifically also the Pyrothite spears and the Adrastite spears too. That's a little bit of a look to the future and what the future holds for shield captains. What I'll do now is I'll just mainly compare the three shield captains in the 41st millennium. So these are typically your three choices in your 40k Adeptus Custodes army. You've got the standard shield captains on the left, you've got the shield captain on a Dawn Eagle jet bike in the middle, and then you've got the shield captain in Alerus Terminator armour. They all have their positives and weaknesses, but obviously they're all pretty strong anyway. You know, Custodian Guard, they're a very elite fighting force, high points cost, low model count, so that's why it's imperative to pick the right one for the right job. If you're going against an army with lots and lots of guns and no melee units, it would be tricky to make the standard Custodian Guard shield captains work, especially if they didn't have any transport options. Likewise, if you were going for a melee focused army, it would be difficult to make the Dawn Eagle jet bike shield captain work. And finally, if you're going against a Horde army, it would be difficult to make the Alerus Terminators work, just because of the sheer amount of numbers falling upon them. These are your options here. You've got your shield captain with a Guardian Spear, one with a Sentinel Blade and a Storm Shield, and the other one with the Castellan Axe. They're your three main weapons in the 40k Codex for the standard shield captain. His power level is a 7. And his points cost is around about 120 to 130 points. Yes, if you give him the Storm Shield, he gets the 3+ invulnerable instead of his normal 5+. And he's still not that bad in combat. I mean, his range of his shooting weapon drops. It's pistol 2 and it's 12-inch weapon. It's only damage 1 as well. But his spear, although it's the same strength as the user, which is strength 5, it's still AP -3 and it's still damage D3. So it's still going to do pretty decent against combat, but just keep him a little bit away from you know, high toughness enemies, tanks, things like that. He's not going to do that well, but he's still going to be very survivable with his toughness 5, his 6 wounds, his save of 2+, you know, his 2+ normal and his 3+ invulnerable. That's really going to help him out. The standard shield captain, again, very survivable, but instead of the 3+ invuln, you got the 5+ invuln. And whether you think it's worth the trade-off of having a slightly longer range sort of bolt gun and one more strength in combat is really up to you. Personally, I don't think it is. I'd much rather go for a way better invulnerable save. But again, it depends on the force that you're going against. You know, if there's lots of monstrous creatures and things with high toughnesses, that extra 1 strength might make all the difference. However, you're not going to be getting a better invulnerable save at all. And then the final option here is the one with the Castellan Axe. So this is the one that you really want against the high toughness enemies. Although the AP is only -2, it does bump his strength up to power fist kind of levels with his strength 8, but the shooting is the same as the Guardian Spear. So they're your options. You've got one that mainly deals with high survivability, one that adds a little bit more extra strength, and one that adds a lot of strength too. Obviously they all have Misericordias as well. So they're your three options for your standard shield captains. Still a solid choice, but yeah, even within the shield captain unit choices, it still pays to pick the right one for the specific job. Let's move over to the shield captain on a Dawn Eagle jet bike, the most expensive of the bunch. He's a power points cost of a 9, and I've worked out his match play points cost would be 179 points, because you have to pay for the jet bike, because his base points are 150, plus his salvo launcher, which is 25, so that's 175, and then Misericordia, which is 4, so 179 points, so almost 180 points. He gets his interceptor lance for free, but still, You know, that's almost 200 points on one model. It's my favourite model for the flexibility in terms of whipping around the battlefield with your movement of 14 inches. Works well with a squad of 3 Virtus Praetors too. They only have 4 wounds each, but this guy is rocking 7, and he's also rocking an extra attack at 5. So yeah, the most priciest option in the bunch there, but you're paying for the movement, the flexibility, the wounds, and the fact that his shooting output is much better than the other 2 choices. You know, you're equipping him with the salvo launcher or the hurricane bolter. With the hurricane bolter, you got 6 shots, possible 12 shots. With the salvo launcher, you got the option of taking out tanks. Yes, it's only 1 shot, and it would have been nice if it was 2. Or the flak burst missile, you got a chance of knocking out flyers or flying creatures. The interceptor lance, a bit lackluster in that it only adds 1 to his strength. So strength 6 would have been nice if it's strength 2, strength plus 2. AP is good at -3, damage is D3, but where he really shines in close combat is you can re-roll failed wound rolls for the weapon on a turn in which he makes a successful charge. So you can only re-roll them once, the failed ones, not just ones of a 1 or anything like that, it's the failed ones. So that's where he really shines. So he's going to be okay at firing at things, but he's got the 5 attacks and he can re-roll the failed wound rolls the first time he goes into combat. Again, he's got Inspirational Fighter like the other 2 choices, where you can re-roll hit rolls of 1 made for friendly Adeptus units within 6 inches of him, but his specific rule is Implacable Vanguard, where when he advances you add 6 inches to its movement characteristics for the movement phase instead of rolling a dice. So you get a straight up 6 inches, so that's the 20 inches there. So very flexible, very fast, but the big downside is he costs a lot of points. And then the final option here is the Shield Captain in Alerus Terminator. Kind of has a balance of both of them, to be fair. Has the same melee weapon as the Shield Captains, but you can't re-roll the failed wounds like the Dawn Eagle one. But the shooting is better than the standard ones because he has this wrist-mounted ballistus grenade launcher. I've never seen it in the universe before other than in this codex. Although it's short range of 12 inches, it is assault D3, so he's always firing that. You've got a good chance of getting 3 shots off it. And yes, although it's a strength 4, it's AP -3, which is the same -3 as a Guardian Spear. So if you're equipping this guy with a Castellan Axe, you've got an AP -3 shooting weapon and an AP -2 axe, but his strength goes up to 8. So he's got his shooting from his axe, which is the 1 shot, or 2 if you're half range, and then he's got his possible 3 shots from his grenade launcher. And then in melee, he operates in a similar way as a normal Shield Captain, except that he's got 7 wounds instead of 6. Points wise, he is slightly more than a normal Shield Captain in power points, but he is more points than a normal Shield Captain, but nowhere near as much as the one on the jet bike. However, his ability, he comes with this from Golden Light ability, where you can set him up in the Godstrike pattern Teleportarium array instead of placing him on the battlefield, and then at the end of any of the movement phases he can teleport into battle that is more than 9 inches away from enemy models. So he's got that great teleport ability. You stick him with a load of other Alerus Terminators and all of a sudden you've got 4 or 5 of them firing 20 ballistic grenade launchers into a squad of Space Marines or whoever, and doing a heck of a lot of damage. But it's a shame he doesn't get any sort of obvious bonuses to the Terminator armour, other than he can equip the ballistic grenade launcher, he can teleport, and he's got 1 more wound. Would have been nice if he also got an extra toughness, but maybe that's a step too far, and the Dawn Eagle jet bike provides that for the Shield Captain on the jet bike. So I hope that's covered everything in your Shield Captain choice. You've got a nice mix here. As I mentioned before, it all depends on the enemy that you're up against. With hordes, you might want to go for the one on the Dawn Eagle jet bike and pepper them with hurricane bolter shells and whiz around the field and not get too close. If you're against high toughness creatures and you want to do surprise attacks, it might be worth going for the Alerus Terminator Shield Captain, or even a standard one with a Castellan Axe. And if you're going against high strength weaponry, long range weaponry, you might be best going for a more survivable shield captain. So they all have their strengths and weaknesses, and it really does depend on who you're up against. They are definitely more primed for survivability and melee more than anything else, which is why the one on the Dawn Eagle jet bike is so much more, because it gets you an extra 2 strengths there in terms of flexibility and speed, and more firepower, much more firepower. The ability to harass flying vehicles or monstrous creatures and become a threat to tanks and other high armor units is basically why you're paying that 180 points almost. These 2 other options, they're mainly for survivability and a little bit of shooting, but mainly for melee, up close and personal. It would be nice to have another shield captain that mainly focused on shooting rather than the spears and things, and the axes and the blades. As I said at the start, like a Sagittarium guard that just had, you know, an Adrathic destructor or something like that. But we'll see, who knows. Anyway, what do you guys think? Which is your favourite shield captain in your 40k games? Which one do you like using the most in game, and which one has performed the best in your battles so far? Please do put it in the comments below. Thank you ever so much for joining me today. Thank you for watching. The Emperor protects.